So I should say welcome everyone to the Cucumber New Contributors Ensemble. We have Demi and Blaise this week. Maybe Dane's going to join us too. And yeah, we're here to work on some open source together. I don't know what we're going to do yet. We need to discuss. Demi, we had a little chat before Blaise turned up, didn't we?
Yes. Yes, we did.
Do you want to talk about that while I sort of fiddle with the stream promotion a minute? Do you two want to have a little conversation about what we do? Hey, Dane's here.
So, last week at the conclusion of our session, pretty much the code that we pushed or the code that we merged was still failing one error or one test on my computer. And we think, again, like the previous problem, it is something that is particular to my machine because it passed all the tests on the GitHub test. It passed all the Cucumber tests on like the whatever. I'm losing my what about what the terminology is. But it passed all the tests onto a repository, but didn't pass my machine. It was failing one test, and we think again it's a native issue or something that is particular about my machine that's getting it to fail. So we want to see if we can figure that out in today's session and create like a more permanent solution, something that has all the tests passing on my machine.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So the first thing we would do is just reproduce that and see it happening, because I think we kind of missed it in the noise of all of the other stuff that we were fixing last time. But it was clear that like there was a difference on your machine, and I don't think it's just your machine. It'll be any machine where there's probably a what was it? The character, was it a hyphen? In the past, no, parentheses, isn't it? Parentheses.
Oh, the parentheses.
Yeah. It's probably any developer's workstation that's got the parentheses in the path. That one of the tests fails, whereas the CI when we were pushing it up to GitHub was passing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, what might be interesting is if somebody else can reproduce the problem. Dane, have you got a ping pong table behind you? Nice.
Yeah, it's our office ping pong table.
That's going to be quite distracting if anybody starts a game up while we're hacking.
Quite beautiful, actually. I'll probably get hurt. But there's not that many people in the office today. It's kind of why I have to be a little quiet.
Right.
Are you in the Boston office?
Coconut Creek. Florida.
So, Dane, I think you might be the other person that could get it running on their machine and try and reproduce it. But I remember last week we suggested that, and you were not in a position to be able to do that. Do you fancy trying to?
Sure. What's the bug?
Well, what we need to do is get Cucumber.js's code down onto a machine, run all of its tests, and then put it into a folder where the folder name's got parentheses in it, and see if that makes it start to break, makes the test start to break. Do you know what I mean?
I could get it set up.
Yeah. I'm going to do the same actually on my machine as well.
Okay, let me close everything.
Once I've got... And then whoever wants to can share their screen, and then we can...
So what are we... Okay, so Cucumber.js, right?
Yeah.
I should probably pull the latest thing that we have for this.
Yeah, you should definitely, because we've merged in Demi's change last week, so...
Nice.
Now we have the...
All right, well, I guess I can share.
A lot of it.
Just don't have anything really set up right now. All right, you guys see?
Yeah.
So I think I'm still except I have, no, this is probably up to date. I'm still the most recent contributor to Cucumber.js.
Yeah.
I guess you guys call it main, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. I'm using forked branch. That's internal stuff.
So this is your fork of Cucumber.js, so you'd need to, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, look at the latest committer. Did you see that?
Oh,
look
would
who it
you
is.
look at that? 4 people. Whoa, look at this person. Great job, man. So is this your first commit?
Yeah, my first open source contribution.
Awesome. All right. Is there a specific branch for this?
Not right now, no. And I mean, you should basically if you just run the tests, as long as the folder's structure is normal, we believe all of the tests should pass.
This is probably a bad idea. Let's see what happens.
Why is it a bad idea?
NPM, because we're using so many different versions of it. I remember what version I was actually on.
Oh, I remember that being a bit of an issue last time, actually.
Yeah.
But it seems to work.
Do you guys know about test containers? The test containers project? No? Oh, this is kind of cool. Here, let me send you.
Okay.
Test containers are basically containers that have development tools already installed, and they're maintained by the I don't know, the rest of the world. Test containers node.
All right. So to run this, is it just build local? Or do you just run the tests? We're just running tests, right?
Yeah, just run the tests. So just npm test will do it.
Yeah. All right.
Or would you npm run test? Yeah, never mind.
It is normally npm run, but there's a few of them like tests that are ones that you can call without saying run. It's a bit confusing.
All right, let's see if everything works as intended, and then we'll try to break it afterwards, right?
Yeah, I think that seems like a sane approach.
So I think with this, you can basically run the whole thing in a Docker container.
Yeah, so that's something that we actually, because there's a big mono repo for Cucumber which has got a lot of the sort of internal libraries in it, and we use a Docker container for that because it builds cross-platform, so you have to have all these different languages installed on it, and it's really complicated to get that environment together.
Okay.
But that Docker image is a monster because it's got Go and Java and Ruby and JavaScript and Perl.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's something I have to check out.
Yeah. Maybe not for today, but
yeah, interesting.
So it's also possible to do a multi-layer image. Are you guys familiar with that?
A little bit. I've just started to glimpse that with some of that work we were doing on those monster containers, actually. Yeah. So
yeah, because if you have a really big image that has stuff you don't necessarily need in it, you basically create this intermediate layer. So the structure is basically from this image as, and you give it a nickname, and then from this other image as, and you give it another nickname, and then at the end you can do the build which will essentially, and then in there you copy the files from the various images that you've loaded in that temporary instance.
So you
and
can.
those files then get written to a new image. The other stuff gets discarded. So you end up with just an image that consists only of the very last stuff that you referred to.
Interesting.
Have you had a chance to do anything with Docker at college, Demi?
No, it's definitely come up quite a couple of times, but I haven't done anything with containers or even a lot of development tools anyway.
The documentation is horrible.
It is.
Documentation is really, really bad.
It's bad.
And
Like notoriously
unfortunately, it's very contradictory. So your best bet, quite honestly, is to get tribal knowledge from somebody who's familiar with the kind of environments that you work with.
Yeah.
Um,
It moves very fast, all that stuff as well. That's the other thing. So you can read a blog post that's a year old and it's all out of date.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would have somehow had someone who like mentored me through like using Amazon for a lot of like the development tools and whatnot. So I use a lot of different stuff with Amazon, like setting up like if you deploy a website, doing things like automatically pulling in the current version, testing it, and seeing it doesn't break whatever before you deploy it. Things like that. Like I forget what the overall term for that is. DevOps. Yeah.
We have.
Yeah, or I mean the other key buzzword is continuous delivery.
Finished.
Yeah.
Everything
Yes,
passed.
CD.
Continuous
We have
delivery is really
the guy
good.
sitting behind is actually one of the people in charge of DevOps.
Is that
in
Jonathan?
Parker. Yep, that's Jonathan.
Wait.
I'm very fond of
Dane,
Jonathan.
what machine are you running?
So we've run all the tests are
looks good.
passed.
Yeah, everything passed. I just everything passed.
So what do we need to do? What do we need to do to make it break, folks?
I don't even know what we're talking about. So,
Rename the
Put a
directory.
parentheses in a parent folder.
Yeah.
so this has to have. So the Cucumber.js folder needs to have a parentheses over it.
It's parent folder.
It's parent folder. Okay. So I forgot how to do that in thing in Finder.
Yeah, Finder would probably be exactly.
So it's
Oh yeah, that might break the.
this needs to have parentheses over it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
somewhere
the
in it.
parent
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Actually, not. It doesn't necessarily need to be in parentheses. It has to have parentheses somewhere in. I mean, that might work, but I think so. If you do like git space, and then parenthesis, whatever US1 or something like that.
Yeah.
all right. Let's do that then. So you're saying
Yeah, that way the sort order. Because something like that, and then close it. Oh, close it.
Yeah, I think.
you want me to close it too?
I think so. I mean, that was what the situation was on your machine, wasn't it, Demi?
Something like that. Yeah.
and then run the tests again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if your terminal's going to get confused now because the folder's gone away.
Yeah, it should.
Right.
It should auto update, but it might not. Let's back out. Yeah, it auto updates. So CD Cucumber.js.
About what the terminal software was.
This is my ZSH using Power 10K. Powerline, yeah. I forget if it's Powerline or Power 10K, but whatever. It's
Oh, okay.
one of those two.
Yeah.
Can you share a link to that afterwards, Dane, in the Slack channel? Because that's interesting.
Sure. Doing npm. Npm test. Spelled that very wrong. Actually, I have no idea what folder I'm in right now. Okay, it's in the right one. Let's see what happens.
So what I think we should see is the unit tests will all pass. and then one of the feature tests is going to fail.
Is my laptop breaking? To wait till January for my new laptop.
Are you getting an M1?
Yes, that's why I'm waiting until January.
Which one?
I don't know, but they said it had an M1 chip.
Oh, so wait, is that Cucumber funded or wait, no, Smart Bear?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now
Yeah,
that could mean I don't get that. We'll find out. But this is all my ZSH, by the way, and then the thing I'm using is Power 10K ZSH. So,
Put it,
yeah,
but Dane,
power level.
Dane, if you put it in the Slack channel, then
that's a good
then
idea.
it'll stay
I
forever.
can do that. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, thanks,
Okay,
Blaise.
I'll
Yeah,
post them both here. You can put it in the Slack channel.
because the Zoom chat only lasts as long as the Zoom call, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, let's come back here and see what's happening.
Yeah, so this is what I would have expected. It's this point here when it runs Cucumber on itself that it's going to fail.
Okay.
Or at least it's failing.
It's going to work
For
perfectly.
some of us. It'll be really annoying if it does.
And all your rainy day tests pass. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, perfect. That's
Hey.
exactly what we wanted to see.
And there was much rejoicing.
So what we can do while it's finishing off running the tests is if you go to that file, features formatter paths at line 26.
What was it called?
Formatter
Formatter paths. Okay. Why is it not recognizing folders or files?
I think it's maybe because you've moved the directory that code's
Yeah,
got
this
confused, isn't it?
Visual Studio Code messed up. So
Might need to wait for the test to run to open it up, eh? Because what we can do is we can put a tag on that scenario so we can just run that one test over and over rather than...
Where is... Oh. All right. So this was called formatter features
Formatter
or
paths. Formatter paths.
paths.
And then line 26 of this file is the one that's failing. So you could put a tag on this. So if you bang a new line in front of line 26 and put like at whip or at to do or something like that.
Is that, I don't know the I don't know
anything's fine.
for
We can put at mob or whatever we like. It's just a tag.
Okay.
I usually use whip for work in progress personally, but it really doesn't matter. And I also tend to use lowercase as well. And that means that now when we run it on the command line, when we run the test on the command line, we can tell Cucumber to just run that one scenario rather than having to wait for all of the other tests to run. I forget what's the npm command though in Cucumber.js to run just the feature tests. Can you have a look in the package JSON? Get to the bottom of the file. There's this huge long thing. We need to update this now and put all of your names in it as well.
Feature test. No.
Yeah, feature test. There you go. So we can do npm run feature test -- tag whip. I'll type that in the Zoom chat.
And it's I don't know the syntax.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Right, so you're doing it -- space. So the dash dash space means everything after the dash dash space is going to get passed to the command that other one is, if you see what I mean. I think.
Yeah.
So and then we want dash dash tag, and then at whip. So space at whip.
Yes.
Think that'll work? Might be tags. I can't remember.
Let's find
Let's try
out. I did something.
Yeah, okay,
And unknown
so
option
try
tag.
tag.
So
We've got someone new joined us.
oh, hey.
Alexander.
Okay, there we go. That worked. I think.
Yeah, great. So now we've got a kind of a cycle. We can run this more quickly. Now we have to try and work out what on earth's going on.
Okay, so
Dang.
given a file.
Should I ask Alexander if he wants to say hello?
Yeah. Are you there, Alexander? Can you hear us? And can we hear you? It said you were connecting to audio earlier. I can't hear you right now. I think his audio or her audio is on.
All right. Well, might be. I'll send him a chat.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, I think I saw him he recently joined they recently joined a new contributors slash.
The
They
Slack.
recently joined a new contributors Slack. Yes.
Aha, yes, I see that.
I think the audio is here now.
We still can't hear you, Alexander.
They're muted, but they disconnected the audio.
Yeah, I just didn't even try to talk. Honestly, I just came up here just to check what's happening.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So we are live on Twitch, by the way, just in case you need to know that.
Okay,
So-
great. Okay.
Yeah. Don't say anything mean about your employer if you don't want to get fired.
I actually don't have any point right now.
All right.
Yeah.
I can say all the mean things I want.
Employers should be open to what is it? Critical.
feedback.
I'm losing all my words. Critical feedback, criticism. It should be open to all that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm running really low on brain juice today, so
Yeah.
I'm forgetting all my words.
Don't
Oh,
worry. It's just great to have you here. Don't worry.
I'm
And this is
pretty
the
much brain
this is the
dead,
power
too.
of the ensemble as well, because we can carry each other even when some of us are tired. It's all right. So are we going to try and work out why it's doing this thing?
Yep.
So
It's saying that I was trying to look for the summary.txt, but I can't find it.
Right.
So that could be a thing.
yeah. So what it's doing is it says when I run cucumber.js with -f summary tempdir /summary.txt, then there should be a file in that path. So that something's going wrong there.
Well, for starters, there is no summary.txt.
in the
So-
temp folder. What is
In
there
the
in the
temp
temp folder?
That's an environment variable, right?
I don't know if it's exactly an environment variable. I think it's something that gets substituted in the steps. All those curly braces.
That's something that gets
I would
loaded.
like to know what happens in that step where it says given Tumpder is an absolute path. Like, what is the step definition behind that? So, none of you are all that familiar with Cucumber, really. What's going to happen when Cucumber runs this is it's going to search for a function which it can run that maps to that plain English expression. So you could search for is an absolute path. Maybe, Dane, you're driving, aren't you? Okay, there we go. So file steps. So this is the function it's going to run. And what's it doing?
Now, is this an instance where Cucumber expressions might be more powerful than regular expressions?
Yeah. Well, not about more powerful, but we could totally be using
more elastic.
We could be using a Cucumber expression here, probably. Yeah. I don't think I want to get into refactoring it to that right now, but that's interesting. That would be an interesting project to do.
Because that would make it
experiment
less brittle. Yeah, for characters.
Blaise, that's definitely one worth noting in the thread, is that we could make another ticket about going through these features and replacing them with like Cucumber best practice, current best practice, because we're not using our own best stuff here, because we could be using Cucumber expressions and we could be exemplifying how to do that. So good point. So what it's taking though is file path, which is just this Tumpder, and it's using mustache.render file path and this. So I suppose what's going to happen is mustache render is going to take that Tumpder word and it's going to call it as a method on this, and we're going to end up with a file path that's generated from, because this is in the context of the Cucumber steps is like an object that you can put helper functions onto. So I think mustache is just like a library for doing substitutions. What might be interesting to do is if we step back to the step, is just print out what the file path is on line 41.
Yeah.
Just log it,
All right.
Because again, we could be getting. I don't think you need the curlies.
That's a specific thing for console logging.
Oh, right. Just so you see. Yeah, of course. Sorry, Dane. Yeah, so you can see what it is. That's a really good idea. Sorry. Why was it? Why was it fussing at you?
I don't know. Actually, that's a good question.
Is it just white space?
Normally, it doesn't do that because it's just destructuring what's in the.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I guess that's a ESLint thing. ESLint was freaking out, maybe.
Yeah.
Because you guys have, whatever your linter is was freaking out because there's no spaces. All right. So I can just run this again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, probably not going to look as good because it's probably I keep getting messages from QA. Okay, this was one from QA and one from you, Blaise.
So that's the file path at the top there.
Yeah.
Users thing.
Which sort of looks reasonable, right?
Yeah, that's it here.
Given what we're expecting at the end, where the summary.txt should be in the folder blah 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 temp formatter paths feature 27 summary.txt, that looks like a pretty reasonable setting for it.
I mean, it looks like it's good, but what is this summary? Where is this summary.txt coming from? Where is it getting?
Okay, so I can show you, like, because I can read in the feature file, like in this bit here, right? What we're testing here is that can you just take it back to the Gherkin one? Yeah, this step here, the when step, this is the whole crux of this scenario. The when step's always the crux of the scenario because that's the bit where you actually do something. And
Right.
here what we're doing is we're running Cucumber with a formatter, so -f is a formatter. So we're running it with a summary format. We're testing that we can send the summary report to a fixed absolute path, and that's what this syntax does here. So we say -f summary : and then the path. And this is this thing with the moustaches on it is supposed to get expanded out to be the value of.
Well, it got it here. We see that it got it here.
Well,
error.
that's where it thinks it should be because it's expanded it out here on the assertion.
Right.
But somehow it isn't actually writing it out there. So what might be interesting is if we have a look inside CLI steps line 19, this bit here. I'm going to wipe all my mess off the screen now. Clear all my drawings. Which step was it? Which line number was it? Do you remember?
It said 19.
19. When I run Cucumber.js with blah. So might be useful to print out string args here so we can see what's the command it's running. You're going to need to do that a bit lower down because it's not worked out string args until... Do you see? Because it works out rendered, because it's going to do rendered args to like transform any of these substitutions like tempder into their actual values, and then I don't know what string arg does, but that's sort of the last thing it's doing before it sends it to actually run it as a command on line 26. So that should give us an idea of what's the actual command it's trying to run.
Oh, that was 2 things, but whatever, seems to be fine. Okay, so file path gives us this. The string args gives us...
Yes, look at that. So it split it. So it's actually not the parentheses in this instance, it's the white space.
Yes.
Ooh, wow. It's different.
It's a good job we didn't just put git in brackets, otherwise it wouldn't have worked, would it?
That's true.
Sure. So that's because it's breaking it apart by it's doing a split.
Yeah.
So white space.
So it looks like this test would always fail if the developer had any white space in their development directory.
Yeah. So because it's reading it as like a string args, like you're right. So it probably thinks that these are multiple commands.
Yeah. So could we put what if we put quotes around it?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Put quotes around the string arg or the second string. The second argument.
Give me a second, guys.
UA seems to be. No, I can hear that.
I don't know if you guys can hear that, but this is
I can hear that. That sounds
coming in.
Is that a flood of Slack messages?
Yes.
That sounds like text messages
from our manager. It's our Jira.
Wow.
It's pumping up right now. Oh boy. All right, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna have to stop sharing for a sec. Sorry.
I'm the switch driver.
Yeah, do you want to take over driving, Demi?
Yeah.
Great.
It's still.
Okay. I'm sorry, one second. Sorry about that. All right, so okay, we're gonna run an external. Do I have to pull? Oh, he hasn't made any changes.
Well, the only change he made was he tagged that one scenario, the one that's failing, and you might want to do that just so you can run it quickly rather than waiting for all of them to run.
Where was that in?
It's in formatter paths. I can see you've got the tab open, in your editor, 2 tabs to the left.
Never mind.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's this one here on line 26.
Like that.
Yeah, that'll do. You can tab it in neatly if you want to, but it doesn't
Yeah,
care.
I'm back.
You've lost the wheel.
Yeah. All good.
You get a break.
Is it all good though on your end?
Yeah,
all right.
We're tagging things for release and what
Okay.
needs to be done for the spring and whatnot. So
I really appreciate your multitasking, Dane. It's awesome.
Right.
Very impressive.
I try.
It's tags.
fail.
I think
I
we learned
mostly
it's
fail.
tags with the plural. Yeah. And I don't know if you need the at on front of the tag or not. Let's try without and see. I think it'll run nothing if it can't find any. I just
Our
don't know.
manager is having a field day right now.
Yeah, okay, so you need an at as well on the whip.
All right, there we go. So, we're thinking of going to CLI steps.
Well, if we're going to put quotes around it, well, I suppose should we add the debugging back in CLI steps like what Dane's got, and then you can.
Yeah.
So you might be able to hover. You see the grey stuff on the right. You might be able to hover those and go straight into the steps file. No, it doesn't work.
Yeah, we tried that the last time.
I still believe it should. So where is it? CLI steps line 19.
All right, okay.
Yeah. So you can print out on line 24.5. You can print out string args there, and then we know whether we're getting anywhere.
You want me to run that again, right?
Yeah, I would, and then we'll see what we're starting from. So.
Oh wow.
Wow. Yeah. Right. So yours is really broken up because you've got loads of spaces in there. So I'm wondering if we just go into the feature file and just put some quotes around it, just like where it says Tumpder.
Oh.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if it's going to work though.
We could try that.
I feel like that string args thing is always gonna break it. No, that wasn't where I was thinking, because it works on this step. It's the one on line 29 that doesn't work. So you see, like it says summary : and then Tumpder, blah blah blah.
Right.
And if we put quotes around everything on the right hand side of the colon, well, I wouldn't do it there. I'd do it because that's not the path yet. The path is after the colon. So just there,
time.
yeah, and then up to the .text bit. No, I'd go right the way to the end of the file name even as well, because you want to have that all as one argument, because it's going to expand that out, and you want that to stay as one thing in the string args.
Okay.
Oh, let's hope that does it, because if that doesn't do it, this is going to be really complicated.
It depends. If you know for a fact that everything that comes after the F,
Well, it's
Hey
different.
boy.
What did we get?
I don't know.
Yeah, we got one thing. It stuck it together. That's much
you have to
better.
stick it together.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with it now?
I think it included. Oh no, never mind.
So
The arrow looks different though.
Yeah. It says no such
Wait, it's
file
opening.
directory.
Look at this. It's opening twice. So like it's looking for the entire thing all over again. I don't know if what I'm trying to say makes sense. Like right here.
Yeah.
It's appending.
Yeah.
So obviously that doesn't exist. But
So why is it doing that?
How does this?
Has it?
How
What?
does this
Can you
read
just
thing
see?
work?
Has it printed anything into that path? Like if you ls temp slash. So it should be in temp slash formatter paths feature. Well, yeah. I mean, you could do that. Yeah. Yeah. So there's nothing there, but what is there? Is there a? Could you go back up one and like? Is there a formatter paths dot feature underscore 27 folder even? Yes, there is. Is there or not?
There is.
There is.
There is.
So it did something.
It didn't paste that summary.txt in, it seems.
But does that get loaded in our runtime, do you think?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering now.
That's always something that gets added at runtime.
I'm not following you.
So the summary.txt is probably something that maybe while it's compiling, it adds this file for some reason and then removes it at the end.
When we say it, what are we talking about exactly? What is doing?
The summary.txt.
What's bothering me though, right, is if you look at the output, we've given it the right path now. We've told it we want it to run and send its output to that path, and there's nothing there. Like we should be able to do this ourselves, right? So if we run this, just run this test again, like press up in your console, up again there, right? So well, but go back and do that command again, but then as well as passing -- tags whip, pass it -f summary. Yeah, you can just do it after it. Yeah. Right, just run it now and we'll see what the summary output should look like in the console. Because I can't remember what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so it's a slightly different rendering of the results. And then try it with -f summary : some path, just to test it out manually. So just do : whatever you like. You could just, well, yeah, I mean, you can try that. Yeah, why not? Because the problem now might be when you actually, we've successfully passed that lump of path surrounded by quotes into Cucumber, but it didn't interpret it properly. So it hasn't written it to where we'd expect it to be. I mean, that in itself is a bit weird there, because it should have written it to a file rather than spat it out on the console, I would have thought. But maybe maybe I'm confused about that. So, but try a simpler path, Demi. Just try like : just something really local, just like here. Just don't even put a / on it. Just do like here.text. Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah. And then see if we end up with a file called here.text with some stuff in it when you run this. So is there a file? Like, look on disk now. It should have written, Cucumber should have written a file onto disk.
Why would it be?
Yeah, it did. Right. And it's got all those like bash color code things in it. That's what all those funny characters are. That's like shell coloring. So it works like that, but then what if we tried to write a file with a space in its name? We're basically doing a manual test now. Like if you put quotes around it and then, because I think you'll need quotes. Maybe make it like over space. Oh, okay. A file with a space as the beginning of its name is pretty wild.
That's going to be interesting.
Wait, it added something.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that worked fine. Huh.
Put the space in line. In other words, like in the second position or third. Yeah.
Bob here.
Here's Bob.
Yeah. So that's all working. So it doesn't look like just passing spaces is the problem. But something about that big long path, when we pass it that big long path is causing a problem, isn't it? Because when we did that, it was not writing the file.
Or maybe it did, but just wrote it to what's temp? Oh boy.
So it makes one of these directories in temp for every scenario that it runs, I think. So you can come back and do this sort of diagnosis.
I was thinking maybe it did, but it wrote it to this place, but it didn't. Or is it like? Yeah, this is so. Or is it maybe the absolute path also, like the type of path it is? Because like we gave it a relative path in this second scenario.
That's the only difference, isn't it, between what we've been doing, really? Well, that and whatever other, that is a significant difference, though.
Oh, you mean it's expecting a relative path?
Well,
that should be a very.
This scenario is about testing absolute paths. So maybe there was a bug once with absolute paths, and that's why the scenario was added. So.
Okay.
Let's say I did this. This is an absolute path, but to the.
You probably would need to give it a file name as well, because it's going to try and write a file to the name of the folder.
Oh, yes. Bob, here that TXT.
Did you delete the old Bob here?
Yes. Yeah. Let's see. No. It didn't do it. Bob here too.
Revenge of the Bob. Bob is back.
It did it. So I can read absolute paths.
How about Bob here, space parenthesis?
Okay. Maybe you get one level deeper.
You're gonna just what about just build up to it slightly, slowly, yeah.
So I expect to see a Bob here too in here. And there it is. Okay, what else are we missing? Format of
paths dot feature.
Oh, I think there's a pattern here. Maybe it's that summary.txt thing. Maybe it's overriding something that should not be overriding, or I don't know. Okay, so feature 20. I saw my thing refresh, so I'm pretty sure it didn't add it. Oh, I was wrong.
Wow.
It didn't.
Could it be the dot?
That's what I'm wondering. That's the only real.
We've got a dot in wpi.edu though earlier on.
Yeah. Okay. You want
make
to
a brand new folder with the dot in it?
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Bob dot here. Now I don't know if it makes paths. Does it make paths if they don't exist? I don't know.
Good question.
I'm gonna doubt it.
Yeah, that is a good question. This is the ultimate. Oh.
Nope.
Yeah, so it needs the folder to be there already.
Yeah.
So it does see the format path. It does see this path, but it can't add it to it. I mean, it sees this, Or else would have given us that error, this error.
Yeah, that's interesting because the error output changed, didn't it, after we put the quotes around?
Right.
And what? So let's just read the error again from the scenario. Can you just scroll your terminal window, or I'll run it again. Yeah, it's up there though. How long's everybody got, by the way, Demi? You said you had the hour. We've been an hour.
I'm going to be gone soon.
Yeah, I'm pretty much out of time, but this is like bugging me. So
yeah. What I was wondering is if we can push this to a branch though, so David can see it. That might be a useful thing to do just with the last few minutes, just so we've got a bit of consolidation of all the learning we've been doing. But I know what you mean though. So the error output, right? Okay, yeah. So what that's saying here, I'm reading this properly for the first time. Sorry, I didn't spot this before. So where it says error output there, yeah, I think that's saying that Cucumber has spat out an error. So last run errored unexpectedly means we were expecting it to just crack on and run, but actually it threw an error as we ran Cucumber, and this is what came out on the console.
This is the error.
So it said,
right, this is the error.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Open.
That makes sense.
So tried open.
Yeah, and there's this weird thing here where it like sort of repeats the.
Well, what we really want is that summary.txt, but that summary.txt file doesn't exist, and maybe that's the actual problem.
That's why I was asking before, because I couldn't find the summary.txt on my computer.
But when you say it doesn't exist, like the whole point of the test is to get Cucumber to write it out to a particular place on disk.
Okay, so Cucumber's supposed to write it.
Yeah.
Cucumber isn't writing it.
And what's happening here is Cucumber is failing and saying, I can't, there is no such file or directory here.
So it can't find the directory to write to.
And it's really confused because of these quotes. So the quotes are ending up, it thinks it's got to write a file to, see, it's like, yeah. I think all of this stuff up to here is Cucumber going, oh well, it starts with a quote, so it's not an absolute path, is it? So I'd better make it like it's a relative path. I bet that's what the bug is. Does that make sense to anybody else? I think I just had an insight. Yeah. Because it's probably programmed to go, oh, it's got a / on the front, so it must be an absolute path, so I won't bother sticking the current directory in front of it. But because we've put a quote on it, which we needed to do because of the spaces, it's then going, oh, right, well, it's not an absolute path, so I'll make it like a relative path. So there's probably a place somewhere in the code where we need to just use path normalize instead of something that's just probably just doing string concatenation.
Well, you can't. Could you really do that though? Because if the space is a part of the actual, because that's the problem right now, the space, right? That's why we had to add the quotes in the first place. So
I think if you use path normalize, it escapes the spaces.
Yeah, but if the space is actually part of the path.
Right. But I mean, I think path normalize will say, okay, if the space is part of the path, then I'll just escape.
It'll also path. Okay, so it'll also do the other.
I'd really like to push the thing with adding the quotes, because we need the quotes in that test for it to work on Demi's dev path or anybody else's. So I think we should push this to a branch. Almost as is, we should get rid of the bobs.
Yes. Goodbye, Bobs.
Sorry, Bob.
The Bobs are fun. I love moments like that. I think that's why I chose Bob as my debugger, because it's just funny to see Bob all over the place versus like something serious.
Yeah. I always call mine Dave. I don't know why.
See, it's just
I am sorry,
Something that adds
Dane.
a little bit.
I can't do that.
All right, there we go. So we've changed format of paths, and we changed it by adding
The quotes
this.
and we added the tag, which I think is fine for now because we are work in progress on this scenario, so we can check that in for now. And then we've got this
And we
debugging in
changed
here.
CLI steps by adding the debugging.
And we kind of
So
don't
you
need
want
that
me to-
anymore, do we? Because we've gone around the loop with that. Like we know that that was to satisfy us that doing the quotes was the right thing to do, and it was.
So why is there a div? There shouldn't be a div anymore.
Oh, it's probably just linting. Yeah, it's linted
okay.
that. It's added that white space correctly. You could probably just not stage this though, just so it doesn't distract for now. But that should have had that white space in the code.
You want me to discard the changes?
I would, yeah, just because it's distracting.
Okay, so all right. Am I in the right branch?
Well, you can make a new branch for this.
Oh wait, I'm allowed to push to Cucumber directly, right? I'm not
You are, yeah. Now that could get complicated right this second because we'll have to fiddle about with your remotes. We probably need. I
am on the fork right now, though.
Yeah, you are on your fork. What does Git remote say? Okay, so you've got. I don't know what fork means.
Origin though, it might not be.
Can you do Git remote -v? Does that give you more details? So which is which?
Oh, nice.
Right, so origin is Cucumber, so we could push and pull to origin as well. Yeah. So if you make a branch. I think I made a ticket for this, didn't I? Let me get the ticket number and then we can reference that in the branch.
I forget the syntax of branch again.
Git checkout -b.
What should I call this? With spaces. And
What's the issue number? You could put the issue number in it.
there's not an issue for this yet.
There's no issue. That looks great then.
It could create an issue.
Sorry, guys, I have like a call. People all decided to start talking.
Oh, I think I might have just bumped into another issue that's related to this. Yeah. But I don't know whether I did actually create an issue for it then. I thought I did. So don't worry about naming the branch with the ticket number in it, Demi. Just get on and do it. Yeah. But let's make it super vivid. I would use hyphens rather than underscores. Sorry, I know that's really pedantic of me to say that. But so like fix hyphen spaces as your branch name. I always try and use kebab case. Do you know that one?
Nope.
So snake case is where you've got the underscores. Kebab case is where you've got like a spike through the middle of the words.
Yeah, it's like you're putting them all on a kebab.
Yeah.
Fix spaces in dev path or something. That would be good.
No issue number?
No, I can't find it. I can't find it.
We don't have an issue for this.
I thought I made a new one, but I'm not finding it right now. I thought I made a new one after our session last week.
I don't think.
Oh no, I just said
you did it outside of the call.
We'll make a separate issue about this, but I didn't do it, so that still needs to get done.
So just do this then.
Yeah.
All right. Commit this to that.
Yeah, and we need to say in here, that this is work in progress, and we're just trying to reproduce the problem. So it's worth us probably writing quite a good commit message here. So actually, but we're at, more important than adding the whip tag. We're putting quotes around the path. I would actually just leave the bit about the whip out of the message, because you need to try and keep your message short. Your first line of your commit message needs to be really short. 50 words or less, they reckon. 50 characters or less, I think, is what GitHub guides you towards. Put quotes around the absolute path. Does it matter it's summary.txt, really?
Just to clarify what the absolute path is using for.
Yeah, put quotes around the absolute path. Well, I think that's fine, actually. Just leave that and then bang a new line. And then let's write some more details about why we're doing this. But leave a blank line. So the way you format a commit message is, that's it. So you put the headline. It's kind of like the subject line of an email is the first line. It wants to be short. But then after that, you can put any number of paragraphs, but you need to leave a blank line first. So, shall I raise an issue while we're doing this?
Sure.
So we've got an issue number to reference. But let's try and think about explaining to David Goss why we've done this, and we can even mention him like with an @ whatever his handle is. Is it D Goss? I'll find him and say, and ask him questions in here if we want. I don't know whether we need to.
Good.
Demi, your video went off, but not your mic. I don't know if you were meant to mute there as well. To reproduce.
All right, guys, I have to cut it short for me.
Sure. So it's
Much
1845 is the bug number. You can mention it in here now. 1845. Yeah. Cool. Do you want to try and do all the co-author stuff?
What?
In the commit message, you remember, so you get everybody's faces in the commit.
Yeah. That's it?
Yes, perfect.
I think I'm going to get you a clipboard manager for Christmas.
What's your thing, man?
A clipboard manager?
He wants to know what your email address is, Blaise.
Oh, sorry. Blaise@gmail.com.
You're not literally Blaise. You are, aren't you? Yeah, because you got in there early. That's right. I remember we had that conversation before.
Yeah.
What just happened?
Woo!
How'd I just lose all of that?
Live coding, everybody.
You could copy
How'd I
and
just lose
paste.
all of
You
that?
could copy and paste this from one of the old commits. If you
yeah,
type
sure.
in your shell, if you type git log. Oh, even better. Look at that. Fancy pants.
Nice.
said you wanted me to tag him.
I don't know if we need to actually. I don't know if there's anything we want to ask him particularly right now. I think we're all right, aren't we?
So commit this.
Yeah, and you're on a branch now, right? Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Now push it to origin. Yeah.
Cucumber.
Go for it. We could create a draft pull request. There's no harm in that. So where are we going from? That all looks good yet. Or maybe it's handle spaces in dev paths rather than fix. Like, you should be able to handle that, right?
Support or handles. Yeah.
This is going into main.
Yeah, it's going to pull towards main. So when it's fixed,
right.
we want it to go onto the main branch. That's what we're aiming to do.
What's the thing? 1845.
Yeah. You might want to put that in the body of the commit message as well, or in the description. Yeah. And probably get rid of all that co-author stuff because that's not relevant for a PR.
Ooh. Because I'm using the VS Code GitHub pull request. There's probably all that extra stuff I had to add.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that either, Demi. It's all right. Like, that template is there to make sure that people do it right, but we can be diligent about making sure that we do it right anyway. It's okay. Yeah.
It's a draft.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can update it later.
Yeah.
So this is good?
I think it's good enough. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, we can look at it on GitHub now because everybody needs to go. So we don't want to bog everybody down right now. But can you open it on GitHub? Can you open the page on GitHub?
Require and the space and that. Yeah.
Oh, now that's funny though. It's got loads more commits on it than I would have expected.
Oh, because it's bringing everything from the fix, burns, and pat.
Yeah. So I think maybe you need to pull your main branch from origin and then push this branch again. That might be what's up. Your local main branch might be a little bit out of date, maybe. Yeah, you see it says that, this branch is out of date with the base branch. We might be able to just fix it there. Can you see that button at the bottom? Yeah. Scroll down. Scroll up a little bit. This branch is out. Yeah, just do that. See if that... It's still got a lot more commits in it than we needed, hasn't it? So... I don't know. Have you got patience to try and fix this now, or should we come back to this?
I'm not busy for the next few hours. We could.
Well, look. Let's just hang on another 5 minutes and see if we can just tidy the PR up, because it's just a bit. It's going to be a bit confusing if anybody else tries to look at it right now.
Yeah.
So jump back on your shell, and switch into the main branch. Yeah. Right, you see, so you're 18 commits behind origin main. Yeah. Okay, and then, well, so, yeah, I mean, don't worry about your fork now, but what you need to do is git check out your, the branch that we were using. Yeah, that one. You should be able to tab complete it, no? Can you tab complete it?
Yeah, I tried it.
You need to get some of that magic that Dane's got. So
Yeah.
now what to do? It's
Sorry, guys. I do
not
have
so
to
much
go.
pulling main as you could merge it, but I would actually rebase main. Is that you off, Dane?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to go.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
So,
Yeah.
it was fun, guys.
Yeah, git rebase main. Should oh dear, okay. Okay, do rebase abort, sorry. It's maybe not as easy as I thought. So then do git merge main. We've got
Oh,
an
you
extra
need the
quote.
it didn't like the quote.
How do I leave this code? Another code? Yeah, there we go. You need a commit?
Yeah, it's going to make a merge commit into this branch, yeah.
It's okay.
So that's okay.
Right.
You're in Vim now, so you need to press escape :Q to save this. Sorry, :X. Sorry. Escape :X. Yeah. Not committing merge. Ooh.
There's a problem. Oh, it didn't save the commit message properly.
Did I tell him the wrong thing? Should we have done W?
Yeah, kind of, but that's all right.
You take
merge
over, Blaise.
Yeah, so you can just hit up arrow. Yeah, perfect. Ooh, please clean your changes. Oh, okay. So do a git status for giggles. We'll figure out what your working directory looks like. It wants you to just. Okay, well, it wants you to do a commit. Okay, fine. Then do the commit -m. Git commit dash. Okay, or that'll work too. And now hit :WQ. I should say escape :WQ. Yeah. Okay.
That's better, yeah.
Still has all the commits.
You can tell that GitHub to squash commits when you do the merge, if you like. I think there's a squash and merge option.
We could just kill the pull request and then redraft it.
We could. Or the only commit we want is this one. Put quotes around the absolute path. Everything else is just noise in here.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be the simplest thing to do. If you just leave this one open, go back to the main branch. So git checkout main, and then git checkout -b. Fix spaces in dev path again or something. And then git cherry pick. (066).
Is it like the commit?
The
hash,
hash,
right there at the top.
the hash of the one that we actually value. Yeah. That one. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, copy the full
Perfect.
SHA is good. Copy the full SHA would work. Yeah. And then pass that to cherry pick. Oh. That did not work.
You can also get the SHA up above. If you, at the top of your screen, there's a list. It's the last item of that listing.
But you only actually need to pass git like a handful of characters. So that's
Yeah,
you
can
could just type
select
it in.
that.
066A0BD. Yeah. That'll be enough for it to identify it. So now we've got a branch with just that one commit on it.
Beautiful.
And so we could probably, if we push this branch
To origin.
Yeah.
And create a new profile.
Well, yeah, we can modify the existing one. That would be fine. So don't worry about this. Just ignore this thing in VS Code and go up to GitHub and edit the PR. So the top right hand button, you've got an edit. No, not this bit. Like the big edit button at the top.
Yeah.
Oh no, so it won't let us change which branch it's from. Huh. Okay, yeah. So we do need to make a new PR. I thought you'd be able to modify.
Yeah.
But you could do it from could do it from the other one. Look, did you see? It was just showing you
The previous screen.
there that one. So you could use that compare and pull request big green button at the top. There you go. Yeah, and let's. So this has got the template in it now, so we can. Yeah, and I'd probably change that opening sentence to say, "This is work in progress. We're just trying to reproduce the problem," or something. You know.
Oh, I got it. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
Cheers, Blaise. I never checked the Twitch stream. Did we get any viewers? Oh, we've had comments.
Oh, nice.
I just changed required.
Yeah, and then I'd get rid of that added quotes to wrap the path to summary, blah blah blah, because it's just that's in the commits. The rest of the stuff there, yeah, exactly. And then, well, with the motivation and context section, we can mention that 1845. So, yeah. And you can get rid of the example bit on the next line below. And this, I guess, is a refactoring debt kind of thing. Because we're not changing the behavior of, well, we're not. It's not a bug in Cucumber itself. Like, we're not changing user behavior. This is just for us developers. Yeah. So yeah, just delete all of those. Yeah. And that's on the checklist anyway, the changelog thing. So you can just delete that. I think this is also noise. And the doc stuff, just delete it all. So get rid of those headings as well, Demi, if you don't mind. That's it, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I think I also would delete all of the checklist items apart from the last one, because we just need to remember to do that. Of course, you've read the contributing document. We don't need to talk about that, but we just need to remember that we do update the changelog probably at the end when we're finished. Yeah, that looks great. You can remember, you can always, if you want as well, when you're in these boxes in GitHub, if you scroll up to the top, you can always flick to preview and just see how it's going to look.
Yeah.
So describe your changes in detail. We should probably lose that. That's noise, isn't it? Yeah. Brilliant. I love how it bluntly just says motivation context 1845. Yeah, good. So then we should close the other PR, because I don't know how we ended up with that branch in a mess, but we did. So yeah. Oh, actually, and that had a better title, didn't it? This one. So that's quite good. But yeah. So you can edit the I think it's the top left, the top right edit button will let you edit there. Yeah. Great. And just the last thing I want to do with that other PR that we closed is just delete the branch for it, because we want to try and keep the branches in the Cucumber repo as tidy as possible. So, yeah, that one there. Yeah, go to 37 branches. That would do. There's actually a button in the pull request page, but we skipped away from it. But you can do it in here. So, yeah, that one there. That's it. It's just tidying up after ourselves. That's all. Yeah. Good. Or you're going to change the branch name. Well, be careful, because you're going to have your local one is mapped to that. So you're going to have to fiddle with things in your local Git if you want a bit of push and pull. I would just leave it having that slightly messy name, because it'll just throw things off otherwise when you're trying to push and pull from it or from your local. Woo! Right. Well, we got it up on the surface. Or is that you done? He's gone. Okay, well, I'll stop the stream. I'll stop the stream if I can get OBS to behave. Why does it always hang? Bye, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that.